All right, so we have just a bit of warm up. We're going to just review what we did in that long video that I did last week. So I got two warm up problems. We'll get right into it, so the video is not too long. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see what our solutions or our roots are on this particular quadratic equation or quadratic parabola, but quadratic equation. So we have -8 and +1. So we can write our solution is equal to, we're going to use brackets, -8, then +1. That just shows where our solution is. So then, remember, we can split these up and go as x is equal to -8, and then x is also equal to 1 because we have two solutions. And then basically we're going to bring this -8 over, so we'd add 8 to both sides, add 8 to both sides, and we get x plus 8, or just say, I'm going to do the opposite of whatever this number is. That's a +1, so it's going to be x minus 1. All right, and then we set up that box for doing factoring. Right, so I'm going to set this up so that I'm going to distribute my values here. So I go x times x gives me x squared. X times 8 gives me 8x. X times -1 gives me a -x. -1 times 8 gives me a -8. All right, and then all I do is I bring this outside now. So I bring out the x squared. I've got a plus 8x minus an x minus 8. And then I just combine, or I simplify here. I just go my last step, x squared plus 7x minus 8 equal to 0, right? Remember, this c term is the same as our y-intercept. So -8 is where this parabola crosses our x-axis. So that just tells you all the time what your y-intercept is. Okay, so I'm going to move to the next problem. You guys are going to answer on Ed Puzzles, so we'll pause right here. All right, and now we're going to do one of the ones where we have it's upside down, right? So someone had, I'd watched a couple of YouTube videos, and someone was saying, negative person has an unhappy face. So, always remember that this is going to be negative in the end, right? Our a value is going to be negative. But first step, what we're going to do is we're going to write down what our two solutions are. So we've got a -2 and a +5. So I can say x is equal to, and I do my bracket, bad bracket, but -2, +5. Okay, so basically now what we can do is go, okay, we got x is equal to -2, and x is equal to a +5. And then we can just say, maybe do my parentheses. I could do my solution and go, okay, I'm going to add 2 to both sides. I'm going to subtract 5. Or I just go, you know what? It's always the opposite. So if it's a -2, then it's x plus 2 inside here. And then it's x. This was a +5, so it's -5. Right? That's all I got to do when I bring it to the other side. I do the opposite operation. So now we're going to multiply it. So we're just going to set up our box method for doing this. And let me see, x, we had 2 over here, and then we have x, and we have a -5. X times x gives me x squared. X times 2 gives me 2x. x times negative 5 gives me a negative 5x. Negative 5 times 2 gives me a negative 10. All right, now we bring everything outside. We've got x squared plus 2x minus 5x minus 10. And now we simplify this. We just go, okay, we've got x squared minus 3x minus 10. And now we just take a look. We go, okay, we got a minus 10 for our y-intercept. We look over here, we have a positive 10. So right there we go, oh, you know what? This is going to be, I got a positive a, right? I got a positive 1 in front of this x squared value. That means that my parabola should be going up. This one's going down. Remember I said when you have a negative person has an unhappy face, so they're negative. So we want to make sure that this is a negative in front of this. So all we're going to do is we're going to multiply this whole thing by a negative 1. And that'll fix the problem. So then we go negative x squared. Negative 1 times a negative 3 gives me a positive 3x. Negative 1 times a negative 10 gives me a positive 10. All right, and that would be our solution. Set it equal to 0, and you're good to go. Okay, so this will be one more ed puzzle, and then we'll move on to the lesson for today. All right, and now that you completed the ed puzzle, we're going to go in. I got a video lesson and then an exit ticket.